Hello everyone, I'm staying in Bath at the moment. I've been visiting the Thermae Bath Spa and later today I'll be at the Roman Baths, and two parts really. One for a book I'm writing about goddesses, which will cover the goddess Sulis, who's super important to me. My first ever business was actually called Sulis Healing Arts. So this is a reconnection with Sulis, the healer goddess, and also because I've been working on my Sacred Vessel program, which is all about caring for yourself, caring for your body, and obviously taking the waters in Bath and the heated springs. It's all part and parcel of that. So I'm enjoying my visit. You are in, or seeing me in rather. I'm in a historic apartment here. I'm actually right in the middle of Bath in Abbey Green. Outside the window, which you can probably just see, is an enormous plane tree, Plane. Apparently this is the oldest planted tree in England. So pretty impressive. It is enormous. Lots of tourist groups come to see it. There's lots of tour guides come past, but and you can hear probably the seagulls as well. We also get the sound of the bells from the Abbey, which is literally just over the back of this apartment. I can see the Abbey from the kitchen window. So it's a lovely spot if you're visiting Bath, if you don't mind being right in the thick of it, but literally everything that I want to see is 5 minutes walk from here, if that. Anyway, on to the astrology. Enough of my visit to Bath for the moment. There will be more on that. On to the astrology. Right now, I'm recording this while I'm away because we are heading towards a partial solar eclipse in the sign of Aries, which will happen this weekend on Saturday. And I think it's going to be a game changer actually. I think it's potentially going to set us off with a fresh energy. Aries anyway is the first sign in the zodiac cycle, so we've kind of got a zodiac new year going on. It's a fiery sign and it's masculine in its nature. Now the downside, so there's lots of vitality available to us, which is great. The downside is Aries can be warlike. It's ruled by the planet Mars. Hopefully this activates your spiritual warrior, which is your determination to get things done, put things right, stand up for what you believe in. The other side of it is it could just make people argumentative. So if you're coming across more arguments than usual, potentially it's the astrology. And if you find if you sense yourself getting more argumentative than usual, just take a moment, have a breath, think, is this actually the astrology? Do I need to have this argument? Because you can walk away, cool down, come back in a more rational frame of mind. So Aries energy, it's the Aries new moon and it's the partial solar eclipse. And I'll just say before I say any more, if you want to try and look at the solar eclipse, do not do it with your naked eye. Do not look directly at the sun because you can give yourself permanent eye damage that way. It will be partially visible. I think the best view is in some parts of America, but in Europe, in the UK, it'll be partially eclipsed. I think it's partially eclipsed everywhere, but much more eclipsed in America. Here, I think it's coming to a peak around 11 a.m. I think it starts about 10, finishes about 12. I'm being very approximate here. And it will depend exactly on where you are in the UK, sort of whether you're further north or further south, if you are based in the UK. So if you want to look at it, use one of the indirect methods of looking at eclipse. Google it. You will find there are ways to safely have a look. And of course you need a clear sky to be able to see the sun. Who knows whether the weather's going to cooperate. But whether you can see it or not, in the same way as whether or not you can see the moon, the energy will be there. And that's what you are tapping into. That's what's going to affect all of us across the whole world. So for you, we can't influence everybody in the whole world, but you do you. And for you, let this be an energy that helps you move forward in your life. It is a auspicious time to be planning new action, and to be really getting to grips with new opportunities. And because it's a partial solar eclipse, time to release as well the old stuff. I think of it a bit like pruning a shrub in the spring so you get more flowers later. I'm a bit late doing my buddleias in the garden. I know I've got to do them quickly, but if I get on and do them quickly, I should actually have healthier, more productive bushes that actually attract more butterflies later on this year. And it's the same kind of thing for you. It's looking at your life, looking at my life, working out what can safely be released to make the space for this fresh, new, vigorous growth. Because potentially this is fast moving energy, it's dynamic energy. Things could start to actually change quite quickly if you put your energy behind them, but you need to have your energy to put that behind them. If you've got a lot of energy tangled up with past things that are old and done or really on their way out, you really need to kind of snip those away, prune those away, trim those away from your life so that you've got your energy to harness moving forwards. Right, let's see what we're going to get. I'm using the Osho Zen Tarot, which is quite different from traditional tarot, but it's pulling me at the moment. I've been invited to go to the Osho Leela Centre later this year to present some workshops at one of their festivals. So that's probably why the Osho Tarot is on my mind at the moment. It's one that I used to use a lot, and then it sat for quite a while, but I just feel I want to get it back out. Oh, hello. Right, let's see what that is. Oh, interesting. Right, so first of all, card that's come out for you, and the sun's coming in through the window, so not my usual setting here. Right, conditioning. You can see we've got a lion here, and tied to the back of the lion is a sheep's fleece, and he's surrounded by sheep. So it's not a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's not trying trickery. He's actually tied in by his conditioning into thinking he's not a lion. Okay? He's running with the herd, running with the flock, downplaying his strengths to fit in. So I want to ask you, first of all, is that you? I can see how that has affected me in my life, where I'm different to family members, or and it's just not been really sustainable to pretend that I'm like them anymore. And I realised quite a long time ago I'd done an awful lot of pretending to fit in, which I think is a mistake. It's one thing trying not to upset people, it's quite another thing to downplay who you are just to keep other people happy. So that's the first one. It flew out, and I think you should see that. Let's pop that there for a moment. So let's get back to the shuffle, see if we've got any more flying out, or whether we can divide the deck in three. Okay. Right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here's your choices. In the centre we have labradorite. Labradorite, stone of transformation and magic. That's some of my keywords for labradorite, and helps to keep you feeling okay when you go through those big phases of change. On the left deck, as I'm looking at it here, is Sunstone. So this Sunstone has been to the Sulis sacred spring with me yesterday. It's bathed in the sacred spring because Sulis is a solar goddess. And then on the right hand deck is a piece of Petersite, and the other name for Petersite is Stormstone. Stormstone because it's a mixture, a swirling mixture of tiger's eye and hawk's eye, and Stormstone because it helps us through change. And I do think we're going through a time globally and personally of quite dramatic change. Generally, with change, the more you resist it, the harder it gets. So I would say, if you can, flow with the changes that your intuition is showing you, that your higher self is showing you. Don't change things that are great because I'm saying change. Change things that are not working anymore, or try new things or try new approaches if things have not been working or they've got stagnant. You don't change just because. There's a reason why change is sometimes needed. You know, there's always some change in our lives at some level. Okay, otherwise we wouldn't be alive. You know? If we want a state of constant everything staying the same, that's what we have maybe in spirit, but not down here on the earth plane. Okay, so let's have a look under the Sunstone, and let's see what Sunstone was looking after. Ooh, travelling and the dream. Aha, okay, so here's what I think about these cards, but please remember that when we're looking at a reading for the collective, it's going to be a general reading and it will resonate or not resonate for you. If it doesn't resonate for you, just leave it behind. You are in charge of your life, not me, not the cards. So if you were particularly drawn to the Sunstone, this portion of the reading may be particularly apt to you, because this is how synchronicity works. So the first card we've got is travelling. And you can see there's a tiny figure on a long path through what looks like mountainous territory. And it's a reminder, there is a path there though, it's a reminder that we're all on a journey. It may refer to literal travel, as I'm away at the moment, exploring the world again. You know, when we had the COVID pandemic, it closed a lot of us off. I've found that I haven't travelled nearly as much as I used to. And yeah, I want to again. I want to see different parts of the world, explore new things. Now, it's not necessarily, I say explore new things, it's not necessarily travel in the actual physical world. It could be astral travelling if you're more shamanic and you're exploring those realms, but also it could just be travelling along your path in life, the next step and the next step, and trusting that it is leading somewhere. You're not lost. Oops. You're not lost. You are on your way somewhere, even when you can't quite see where that is. And we don't see on this card the end destination. In fact, there's quite a lot of mist around. So this traveller is like a pilgrim walking the path ahead and just trusting that each step is revealing new things and closer to the destination he or she is travelling towards. Okay, now I take that with this one, the dream. Okay, so this is, on this card, a romantic dream, and it might be romantic. It might be an image of you and a loved one, or you and a dream of a loved one, and it could be that. But also it could be, what are you dreaming about? Literally at night, in bed, what are you dreaming about? Or what are you daydreaming about in the day, when you let yourself go into a reverie, which is not necessarily romance. It could be, but not necessarily romance. It could be a wider dream than that. But pay attention to your dreams, because to an extent your dreams can be a sign of what your subconscious is trying to tell you, but also what you dream of doing. Maybe your higher self or actually coming through and saying, look, this is what you've always hoped for. This is what you've always aimed for. Maybe if you pay attention, there are steps, practical steps you can take. Now, onto those steps. Be careful, because this is a sneaky card. You can see this is someone, the keyword is politics, and it's speaking with a forked tongue. It's someone who is showing you a mask that's all lovely, and behind that mask, what are they up to? So just be aware, and I've come across this in various places, not in my own life, but just in the energy, because people have their own agendas sometimes, and so you just need to have your, it's not being paranoid, but just have your senses aware. If it sounds too good to be true, you know, like these scams that go around, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So it's, don't be deceived by a pretty smile, don't be perceived by what looks like a shiny offer. Check underneath, make sure you haven't got this rather gruesome underneath just trying to rob you of your cash or your well-being or whatever it is. Make sure it's genuine. It's also probably referring to politics on the world stage, because at the moment the world's a bit mad politically. I would say to you, look, try not to plug too much of your energy into that, because if you go down that particular rabbit hole, you could lose so much of your life force energy into the drama of it all, and who's right and who's wrong, and what if this and what if that, and you don't get your own life done. And I think you serve personally, unless you're actually going to head into politics and do that fighting for what you believe in, you can actually help the world more by doing your thing rather than sending your energy into someone else's thing. I hope that makes sense. That's what I think anyway. So, you know, if you're worried about the world, send healing for the world. Don't get too wrapped up in the what appears to be going on, because it could all be quite deceptive. A lot of I'm not going to get political, but there's a lot of lies at the moment. Bear that in mind. Okay, so that's what's under the sunstone. Don't be deceived. Make sure that you are walking a true path that's right for you. Okay, so let's have a look under the labradorite. What have we got? We have got, and this whole reading might be for you, or it may just be some parts. So we have got, woohoo, if you picked labradorite, we have got success, definitely gets a woohoo. Awareness, oh, okay. So there's some quite tricky cards in this deck that can press people's buttons, which is okay, because life's not always easy. You know, it's coming from the place of Zen. That's how these cards were created. So, right, we've got a lovely card first. Let's deal with the lovely bit. We have somebody on literally, quite literally, on top of the world, riding the back of a tiger like the goddess Durga, celebrating some kind of victory or just enjoying life in general. And you know what? Whatever is happening, we are allowed to enjoy life. So this is saying be grateful, celebrate, notice where you're getting success coming in, be happy in the moment. The Zen Tarot is all about the moment. It's not really a future predictions deck. It's about where you are now, because it's paying attention, it's being mindful. So it really is quite a therapeutic deck in a lot of ways. So this is saying celebrate success, be aware of what's good in your life and be grateful for that. And I do believe the more you're grateful for what you've got that's good, the more of that the universe thinks, well, okay, well, she's sending out signals here, or he's sending out signals here. I'll give more of that stuff because it's being appreciated. But whether you get more or not, appreciate what you've got. Here we have got the card of awareness. It's a bit linked, you know, this first one that came through, that jumped out. it's similar in some ways because it's waking up from that conditioned state or misty state into a clearer awareness of who you really are underneath the conditioning. There is your true soul, your true persona, which isn't about pleasing other people necessarily. It might please people, hopefully it will please people, but it's not why you're doing things. It's doing things because it's an expression of who you really are. So it's more genuine. It's more real. We're being invited to get more real at the moment and to drop away those old appearances that don't serve us. So we've got 3 cards really that are like that. That's the really unpleasant one, I know, but it's still someone pretending to be something they're not. This one, breaking through from the misty, cloudy, confused state that being embodied can give us, where we forget our true self. And similarly with this one, where we've been told we're something that we're not, actually. We're just not. Okay, so I'm liking that for the ones that were under the except this is one of my least favourite cards in this deck, because this is like a prison. It actually does. It all seems to come back to this conditioning card. This is the prison of morality. What you should do, what you shouldn't do, who said you should behave in certain ways. Very restricted energy, except beyond that, beyond the cloudiness it's put around people's minds, that morality card. It's not saying you've got to be amoral, by the way. It's not saying that by releasing these old bonds of shoulds and should nots, you've got to go and be the complete opposite. But you can see beyond here, there is a beautiful sky with a crescent moon. Absolutely lovely colours, but you have to get through the old prison bars that have been put on you, or the old sheep that's been sewn on your back. So it's warning you not to be held by the old energy that's passing away. And it's also asking you not to be waggy finger to someone else. You must do this, you must do that. Let people, you know, you can give people the benefit of your advice, but let them make their own mind up, and do not punish them if they choose differently from what you said. They have free will and you have free will, and this is reminding us that some of your free will might have been imprisoned, and you need to look at that. You need to look at where you have felt caged. Okay, so that's the labradorite. So petersite now. We have got very beautiful maturity and guidance and letting go. Okay, so we're starting a new cycle with Aries, which is quite young and childlike. However, we're not starting it for the first time ever. Some of us have been on this planet longer than others, but we're going around again. So on this card, you can probably just see there is the Ouroboros, the snake that's biting its own tail. It's a cycle. So we're coming into a new cycle, and it's another chance for us to pass around the zodiac cycle, but with greater maturity, greater awareness, more flowering of our soul, if you like, in this cycle. So I really like that card for now. That's beautiful. And then we have guidance. So being aware of your guidance, being aware that this is a time when your guides, your angels are trying to support you, get messages through your higher self. The more we can actually pay attention to those positive messages coming through our guides, the easier it can be. It tends to be, I know, if I ignore the guidance, which comes through quietly. It's not a loud voice usually, it's quite quiet. But if I ignore that still small voice within, if I don't pay attention, then I usually give myself more problems. So let yourself hear the guidance. Now, obviously, if you get guidance that does not feel positive and loving, that does not feel helpful, tell it to be gone. It's nothing. You know, your true guides, your true angels will always feel supportive. Even if they're gently telling you to get back on track, they won't. They're not going to feel like they're undermining you. They're not going to feel like they're criticising you. That can be your own voice sometimes. That can be your own inner critic trying to cut in. And it's like, no. I will listen to positive, kind, loving guidance, even if it is corrective, if you like, but it will come through with that energy of love. So if it doesn't come from a loving place, don't pay attention. If it's loving, pay attention to your guidance. Okay, so it's a time, because it's a time of new beginnings, a time of letting go. The two things go together. You can't hold it. I've said it before. You can't hold onto it all. You have to choose what to take on the next cycle, what to release. Remember what you're releasing. It's not wasted. The universe reuses, recycles energy. You have learnt the lessons. If you've learnt those lessons, you can let go of the drama behind them, if you like. You can let go of the old memories that might be holding you back, or the old patterns that might be holding you back, or whatever it could be. And it is still spring cleaning time. I still need to do lots and lots of spring cleaning. I am aware of that. That will help the energy flow more clearly as we start this new zodiac cycle. So there we are. That's the cards for today. And I'm just going to pick you a crystal card from the little pouch. These are my little Touchstones cards. In fact, I'm going to open them up. There we are. So this is what they look like when you get them. This is a full deck, if you like, and I want this one here, just there. Oh, look, there we are. So we've got Bloodstone, Courage, and I have a Brave Heart. So don't fear the change. Bloodstone actually is very appropriate for this Aries season just beginning, because those red specks, there's a story about bloodstone being formed by the blood falling from the side of Jesus on the cross. Obviously it's mythology. Kind of connects you to the idea of being courageous, moving forward, knowing that you have got support, you're not all on your own. That's why that guidance card came up. I have a brave heart. So courage and the heart come from the same French word. Remember, to be encouraged is also to have a hopeful heart. So grab your piece of bloodstone. If you're feeling a bit shaky about moving forward, it is a time of change collectively. Be brave, let yourself move forward. Sometimes that will involve going out of your comfort zone. If you feel yourself getting nervous but you know something is good, I would say, look, you know, those nerves, that's part of your comfort zone holding you in. If you talk to yourself like a slightly frightened child, you know, child on the first day of school. Most children, or quite a lot of children, would never go to school if you went, oh, all right, don't bother then, it's okay, don't worry. If you're nervous, come back home. You'd never get them into school. You have to treat yourself a bit like a child sometimes and give yourself encouragement and say, it's going to be okay. You've got to go and try these new things. If you don't like it once you've tried it, that's okay. But first of all, try it. Okay, so I hope that makes sense for you. I'm going to get ready for going out and seeing the Roman baths now in Bath and having a little tour of them, which I'm really looking forward to. So anyway, whenever this gets to you, Hope you enjoy it. Don't look directly at that solar eclipse, promise me. And I will see you next time.